Hello everyone. Hi. Hello everyone on Instagram. How's you going? How are you going? So welcome to the challenge, draw, spin the globe and draw. The challenge that everyone is waiting for. Hi Kevin Ender. How are you? Welcome, welcome. And today is the day number 6. And a new day, new challenge. How have you been doing? Are you ready? So it's I just been back, and it's a nice day. It's a wonderful day. It's spring is coming. So yeah, when I left work, I had a really nice stroll, and now I'm refreshed and ready for this challenge of the day. So YouTube is running. Hey everyone from there, and today we have a new challenge of the week 2, and I've got on my iPad the image of the day, which is a location in China, in Suzhou, and I don't know if you can see, but I've got double screen on my computer and on the iPad, and then I will be moving away the image from the iPad and start to sketch. And this is one of my favorite park in the world. This has been submitted by Sui Chen Zhang. I don't know if you are watching this, Sui Chen. Me and Sui Chen are colleagues, so I just spread the word among my colleagues as well about this challenge, and a few of them submitted some locations. And today, yeah, is Suzhou one, which is Sui Chen's hometown. And I've been in this place, but I haven't. Well, it was long time ago, and I remember I being in this garden and was surrounded by this lush green and water, and everything was so perfect. But I wasn't sketching at the time, so no drawings in my sketchbooks. So today, yeah, let's catch one of these best scenery from the garden in today's challenge. So we are sketching this bridge scenery today, and oh, let me see in the chat. I don't have the chat in here, so I've created a mask with chat. So yeah, now I can see. And Ed, hi Ed, welcome back. How are you today? You've been watching this for a few days. I hope you're enjoying it. And how is everyone doing? Are you enjoying this sketch challenging? Let me know in the comments. And I wanted to introduce something as well today for today's session. I will do a like a quick Q&A session at the end of the sketch. So I will be reading the comments that you guys are posting. And because when I'm sketching, I'm not like fully looking at the screens, so there are so many screens to look at. So I prefer to be focused on the drawings, and therefore I can finish in time. And then I will be reading your comments, your text in the chat for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Let's see how many we have, and try to answer your questions if you have any. So guys, prepare your questions for at the end of this challenge. So we will have a bit of interaction as well. So I don't want to be just sketching and then end the live. I want to be more interactive with you guys. So I'm looking forward for it. And oops. So without further ado, let's start with the sketch of today. And I will be drawing this very nice bridge with some pavilions, some pagodas in this beautiful traditional pagoda, traditional architecture, Chinese architecture in this garden. So Suzhou is one of the oldest city in China, and is the heart of the Chinese architectural style, because it's one of the most beautiful garden is in this city, and all the Chinese style gardens has been introduced in this town and be spread around China in history. So it's one of the most beautiful scenery in China. If you haven't been there, I will highly recommend to visit the city. And there are a few gardens around. There is one I remember with a nice lion, like nice rocks. It's just rocks in the garden, and each of the rocks resemble some animals. Some resemble lions. So probably all of them are looking like lions, but they are all natural. So it's really really nice to go to visit. So I'm really looking forward to go back again. And so today we have this garden, and we have a really nice water reflection underneath this bridge with all these nice pagoda. I've been looking forward to sketch Asian architecture a lot. So today I'm glad that I'm doing one of these. So please, guys, the submission is still going. So please submit your locations, and I'm still choosing for the next challenges. So keep doing it, guys. You've been doing amazingly. I hope we will have more Asian architecture as well. Yeah, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, so let's start the sketch of the day. I will pull this away, and let's have our sketch pad ready. I hope you can see the screen. Are you seeing this all right? So as for today, I will use again a fountain pen, Montblanc Meisterstuck 146 with black ink, and a Fabriano sketchpad with A5 size portrait paper. And yeah, let's start. So as I said, I will read your comments later. If hopefully you still be around, and I will go through and answer some of your questions if you have any. So it's a really nice image where you have two pavilions on the side. So I will be put this on the side of my portrait format. I want to focus on the bridge in the middle. So let me pull this image again. I want to see the bridge in the middle with the nice reflection on the water, and I want to highlight all the landscape as well, all the lush trees around it. So it's gonna be a very rich sketch with a lot of landscape, a lot of trees, bushes, and I think it's a good sketch to try different variation of trees and vegetation. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to play a bit with that as well. So let's compose the scene by drawing the horizon line, which is in the lower, I want to put in the lower third of the image. And you roughly have the bridge in this location, which is framed nicely by the pagoda on the left, on the right and on the left. So it's roughly this facade of the pagoda is in here. And then the other one is in here where the bridge starts. So I want to put in here, actually. and then you have this nice bridge in the middle. And I really want to draw this like nice roof as well. So there is a lot of details in these roofs. So I hope I will be able to simplify them a bit. And then there is a nicely landscape that frames the bridge around here. So I want to draw where people are walking here. So this horizon line would be the heads of the people that are walking on the bridge. And the parapet would be somewhere in here. I'm drawing with the back of my nib, but you guys can, if you're sketching this at home, you can try to use the pencil if you want. And I've seen someone sketching directly with watercolor. I've seen one of the sketch that I reposted on my Instagram. It looks amazing. Like, how did you guys draw directly in watercolor? It's really nice. I always wanted to learn more about watercolors. So yeah, I think in the future I will use more colors and watercolors. The thing about watercolors is like you really need to be confident using colors, and yeah, it's scared. I'm always intimidated by the colors. What do you guys feel when you're drawing in watercolor? I would love to be as confident as when I'm sketching with a fountain pen. I think that comes with time and practice. So I'm drawing the roof now. It's roughly in here. I'm using dotted lines, so whenever you want to change or add more details, you can always like play around these dots, and it won't look like a mistake if you make any mistakes. Yeah, I wonder if there is any tricks in watercolors or other techniques that you can mask your mistake. Yeah, so it's roughly here. So the roof of this pavilion is in here. And then we have a little roof in this location here. And yeah, this pavilion goes slightly, maybe it's a little bit further to the right. And a little bit higher. So this pavilion is quite close to the viewer, to the observer. So I want to add more details later on this pavilion and leave the bridge a little bit more loose. So yeah, at the beginning with the fountain pen, I always do. I always draw the rough shape of my subjects with the fountain pen, and just maybe put dots to understand if the location of these elements are correct. So I rarely do solid lines because I know if you want to correct it, it would be a nightmare. Okay, that's okay. And yeah, and then all the landscape I will add later on. I will focus on the architecture and get it right first. So I will start with the bridge. Sometimes I start with the center, sorry, the closest subjects, like this pavilion, but I want to kind of get the bridge right because it's my subject. I want to highlight it. So I want to get it right first, and then somehow the subject in front can adapt to the frame if I need to change. So it has this very decorated balustrade, which I love. Can you guys hear me all right? I just changed the microphone source today. I hope you can hear me. Okay, and so these are the supports of this bridge. I think they are built in stone, and or maybe it could be concrete, but no, probably it's stone because this architecture here is so old. I'm not entirely sure how old it is, but it's pretty old. So it's all original, and at the time probably in China we're not using concrete. So I want to draw a little bit of the river. So the river is in perspective and goes to this vanishing point somewhere in here. So I can do like a vanishing point in here, and then the other side of the river is going underneath the bridge in here, and then you have some bushes, and then you have this pavilion that frames it in perspective. So that's something like that. And I think I'm gonna draw the top edge, and then I will just do some patterns that suggest somehow the pattern of the balustrade. It's a series of like intricate zigzag lines. I'm not gonna do that zigzag, otherwise it will be too complicated. You won't be able to read it. So I will do a series of maybe dots is enough. The other option is you can do a series of dash line in the orientation of that. Yeah, maybe I can do some sort of like this pattern that helps to read the pattern a bit more. So not everywhere, but just in some areas. It's like when you draw a brick wall, you don't want to draw every brick, but just hint of some of them. Like that. And then let's see later on and that we can play with the transparency a bit when you put something behind the parapet. So the transparency will help to read these geometries a bit more. So let's draw these columns. And then there is a person here, so I will draw maybe a few more. In here, and then you here, and then let's draw the tile on top of the roof. So the tiles in here, so the roof is a series of like concave tile that ends up in this round shape. So I normally do when I draw Asian roofs is I do this series of round shape first, very loosely. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then you draw these lines that suggest the orientation of the roof. I normally use some dash line. That goes flatter and flatter, like more angulated due to the perspective. And then it ends in this junction, but is alright. And then on top you can just keep drawing this circle line. It almost caps the tile, and that is your roof ridge, something like that. And then with the shading, you can then highlight this shape even more. This is just the initial composition of the roof. When I went to Japan, I've drawn so many temples, shrines, and yeah, I found that this way is the most efficient and quick way to draw these roofs, because otherwise you will lose into this this type of roof. So you have the other bits that goes into this direction, and you can almost draw the top as a vertical oblique line. And so the solid, so from here the parapet become solid. So I will draw this column, and from here onwards the parapet is solid. So as you can see here, by the time you finish the bridge, I realized basically this part is longer. So you want to have more this space. So that's why I preferred to draw the bridge first, and then you can control where this pavilion is. So this is exactly the perfect example why I'm doing this. That's fine. So then you have some vegetation. The sound is good, Ed. Thank you very much for letting me know. Are you drawing today as well? Um, so now I pretty much defined that part. It's actually more in perspective. So this line is flatter, and then you have this part that closes the bridge. So I will have another column in here. Now you have a few more columns in this part due to the perspective. So I won't be drawing exactly where they are. Just give a hint that there are more columns on this side of the bridge. And now I can draw the facade of this pavilion. And I think I'm gonna frame this as well on both sides. That is pretty much the location where I want the facade to start. That's fine. And yeah, I remember when I went to this place, the Suzhou Gardens. I remember that everything looks very similar to Venice. In fact, they said Suzhou is the Venice of um, the East. So it's actually quite similar, a part of the architecture, of course. You'll be definitely be able to tell that this is not Venice. But the water, the canals, it looks very similar and has that vibe. Yeah, you don't have the gondolas, and and yeah, it's different, but it's the sensation you get there. It's like a Venice. And I remember I ate dumplings in a local restaurant, and it was facing on one of these canals. And yeah, I remember that the dumplings taste better than other places. I think it's because of the view, and I'm not sure if the dumplings are actually better because I went long time ago, and I don't remember, but I remember I ate dumplings there. Have anyone been in China? Hey, Betty Tan, welcome, welcome. How are you? Are you sketching today? So, I've always, yeah, I haven't been in China for a long time. Like even before COVID, I haven't been there because all my parents are in Italy now, so I don't really need to go back to China. But I know people living and working in here, but have their as their parents back in China, they are struggling now to go back because of the COVID situation. And it's crazy. You have to do a lot of tests to get your rights to go back. And it's much harder. It's harder than any other places in the world now. So I want to get this shape of the roof right. So all this lower part is it's quite dark. So I'm gonna just quickly do outline, and then all these parts are quite dark. So I want to catch some of the details on the roof. You have to zoom in a little bit and catch some detail, and then leave the rest to the shadow. So you have some ribs in here. So I want to catch some of this detail, and then all this part inside will be dark. And then you have these amazing details on the roof, which I'm not gonna do too in detail, but I want to highlight that this round shape on the edge of the roof tile, and these are almost like a V shape. And I wonder what material is that. I think the tile is in ceramic, and it's like half moon shape, almost like chips. And I really want to get the idea of this roof, how it looks from the edge. So I will capture this detail in here. Oh, thanks, Ed. You that was great addition to the. Yeah, I will read your comments later, and yeah, let's focus on sketch. And uh, so now you have this curvature of the roof structure that goes like up like that, and then there is also some trees that will cover some part of the roof. So I will do that later. So I will leave some dash line here, just some rooms for leaves if it wants to cover the my roof. So there's some detail in here. Then hold the tile is going to this direction. So I will roughly draw the direction, and then I want to catch the texture of some of them as well. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it just needs to give the sensation of the overlapping of the roof tiles. And then you have this nice detail. The edge is very, very pointy, and half of this is covered by the tree. So it's fine. Now I've got enough detail here, and I will leave this pavilion for now and focus on the other one. The other one is quite similar, and so I want to draw the structure first of the right hand side of the bridge, and Sui Chen, are you drawing? you promised that you will draw together. So I'm looking forward to see yours as well. So here I've got this roof roughly in here. And then you have some structure. I actually I drawn that in the wrong way, but because normally you should draw in this area first on the left hand side first, because if you draw on the right hand side, be uh, you will be having the risk to smudge your sketch. So it's always a good habit to start with the detailing on the left, sorry, if you are handed. So, but it's fine for this one. Again, the roof detail and the top detail. So I like this curve that goes whoop. Yeah. I like how these two roof edge are framing the composition, and it goes up. It looks like two sculptures that talk to each other. Yeah, I quite like it. And then you have some detail. That I will catch this detail later when I will do the shadow. Okay, and then let's go over with the roof tile. And the key is on the top as well. You have to draw these shapes and then suggest some tile overlapping in that direction. I think it's fine. Then what you have is the lower part of the roof. It does that. And then you have a series of structure here. It's very dark there. It's quite contrasted image with this one. So I will leave not too many details inside underneath that roof. So here you have the other wall going to this direction, and some bush here that frames the river, the canal, sorry. When I draw bushes in perspective, I use this curved line that almost offsets the line of the bush in the foreground, because that suggests the overlapping. And here, that's fine. So I want to add some detailing in the seating. So this curved line in here, they are the seating, the back of the seating. And this actually, where I ate the dumplings, I was literally sitting on one of the side of this pavilion. And when you turn your head back, you can see the canal, but you are eating actually facing inwards. Well, there are some tables, of course, with views outside. Okay. Haha, I'm learning and focus. Good, Sui-chan. Learning and focus. So, uh, okay, I think I took a bit more time in composing, and now I think the composition is okay, is all right. I will add some details of the bush around before start to put the shading in. So there are some um, rock part in here. I It's nice to catch these rocks because they gives a really definition, some definition to the coast, the edge of the canal. You can give definition with shading underneath something. Like underneath the bush, you have this nice dark shadows, so that defines where the water surface is, and it's really important to have them. As I said, drawing in ink is almost like hunting for contrast. So where you have contrast, it's always good to show your sketch. So here you have some structure that goes into the water, and I want to show it somehow. And then maybe I will use the bush to frame the sketch, like here. Before drawing more, I will put my signature, which is in here, and then I will frame the lower part of the drawing. Then maybe the perspective is a little bit off. I will adjust now while I can. And then, yeah. Oh my God, actually, before I started the stream, I thought today was Friday. And I honestly was thinking today was Friday, and I was so happy. I said, yeah, I can do a longer stream today. But then I realized, no, Thursday. Tomorrow, another day of work. That's life. It's all right. Okay. And I always also realize that there is a lot of details in the reflection that I probably want to catch, because I want to draw another version, a mirrored version of the bridge underneath. Maybe it would be looser, so you don't need to add all these details, but just some shadowing of the the outline of the bridge. That should be enough. Because otherwise, if you draw too many details here, you will steal the attention from your main subject, which is above the water surface. Okay, that's fine. And there's a bush here, and I want roughly. No, actually, it's fine. I will draw the tree later on. Let's draw the shading. I will start from the left-hand side. I don't want to destroy the sketch with my hands. So let's start underneath the roof. And let's start with a dense hatch, but probably it will be even denser. Let's see how it goes. So all the columns are dark, and the lower part of the roof is very, very dark. It's almost black. I want to just draw a first layer of hatching just to see how it looks. I don't want to go straight full on dark. And the structure, I will do some horizontal structure, horizontal hatch in here. This part is very, very dark and it's key to express. So I will go now even darker now. And I want to highlight the shape of the end of the roof with this circular half moon shape. And then the top of the column as well, it's almost dark. It's almost 100% black. So you want to express that in your drawing. And then if you do this contrast, the roof will jump out from be highlighted in the sketch much more. And I think here is fine, because you have a layer of, you have this transom, you have this beam that goes around the roof, and then I want to highlight this half moon here, this disc on top. That gives the texture to the roof in perspective. That is a key when you draw pagodas and this type of architecture. And then also on the top of the tile, you want to highlight this black shadow gap between the ridge of the roof and the tile. And since it's a roof, I normally put some bubbles on the top. And I will draw some people. I think, yeah, you have the background as well, of course, in this image, but you don't want to draw the background as well, because otherwise you will lose the contrast in the pavilion. So I will leave the background white, but I want to draw some people sitting in here, eating dumplings like me. This guy enjoys life, eating dumplings, drinking beer in this magnificent pavilion. Although I don't think you can drink actually. They will arrest you because all these gardens are, you need to have tickets to get in. And probably by now, after COVID and after all this like terrorist attacks and everything, probably they will check your bags as well. if you have alcohol, guns, knives, and everything. You know, China is very strict under this point of view. So it's difficult. It will be difficult to bring the full set for picnics and eat inside or anything like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sui Chen. Okay, I've drawn some people, and now I want to draw more and more people because I think I want to make this place quite busy, but not too much, not too much. On the side, 2 people on the bridge is enough. And I think I will go full dark because I want to create more contrast. And so in here, I draw some people leaning maybe on the wall and some people walking in the background. And I think that's enough. What do you guys think? You think you like more people? And so the structure of the column actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the bridge. Oh, yeah, actually, you said Suzhou citizens, the gardens are free. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're residents there, of course, everything is available for free for you. So you can actually have dumplings and drinking beer inside, probably. No, probably not, but you can at least enter without paying the ticket. So, yeah, good. It's like in Venice. If you live in Venice, a lot of stuff will be available for free for you. But if you're a tourist, you will pay a fortune to have a ride on the gondolas and all that stuff. So I'm starting to draw some details on the in the bush here, but before that, I want to draw some transparency in the parapet here. So basically, how I normally show transparency is basically to draw some portion of the people. So that therefore, if you want to have transparency, you have to have something on the other side of the object you want to make it transparent. So if you want to show the transparency of this whole um, of the parapet, you want to put a person underneath behind it, and then you just need to draw some details, not the full portion of the figure, just some portion following possibly um, the pattern of the surface, and then you will give a sensation that is transparent, like this roughly. What do you think, guys? Can you read the transparency? Let me know. And yeah, I think I'm quite happy about that. So I want to draw some more structure. And here as well, the columns, the other columns on the other side, you can draw some portion of the column in between the texture. You can make it darker, and then that will suggest the transparency. So you don't need much for that. And that's fine. That's done. And we'll want to have more columns. And we want to, so I'm here now. Yeah, some more people. I will draw more people here. And then I want to draw some a figure here, like cut by this architecture, because this way you highlight this face of the architecture more. So you will read that this person is walking behind this building. So good to have. And yeah, since this is all a white surface, that's fine. I will leave maybe a, even this white, I want to add some shading, because this way you can read the top part of the bush better. And you can create more contrast. Okay. And maybe I will leave the bridge for now. And actually, I want to draw more details in the bush here. So I will use a vertical hatch for the bush. And then again, this part is completely in shadow, in shade, sorry. And but I will add some contrast in here, otherwise you won't be able to read this. And then here, and there's some red tone on top. The key is then to draw the shadow underneath the roof, the vegetation. So now let's draw some details on this side. So I want to draw a lot of dark shading underneath the roof. So it will be a dense shadow underneath the roof, but occasionally I can leave some gap between structure to highlight that it's a structure. There is something happening in the shading, and these are always good to have. Otherwise, it would be a solid flat black hatch, which is not good to have. It's always good to avoid solid hatch. Like this, you can read this way, you can read these elements, but you still have the feeling that all these part is in shade. And I will probably go over with another layer of hatching to make it darker, but for now I'm happy with. And then remember the structure of this half moon, which is really nice. I want to capture these details in between the half moon. So if you can see here, the half moon is this, and then the detailing. Oh yeah, of course, on YouTube you can't see it, but it's basically the space between the tiles. Actually, I have here. So if this is, I'm showing on my iPad, if this is the half moon, the space between is key to highlight them. So color in dark will create more contrast. So I'm doing exactly that in here. I think that's fine. And then you have some shadow on the ridge here. And I think now is enough. You want to read some reflection, some white on top, because that creates the contrast in the lighting. Now we have a dark timber facade here. It's like a burgundy color, so it's a very luxurious veneer that in ancient China they normally use for the imperial palaces, like high-end places. It's because it's very expensive. The treatment of this facade is very very difficult as well. So I want to highlight that by adding some shadows between the architectural elements. It's quite rich, so I'm gonna just add some shadow between in here to highlight these elements. And actually, the roof goes a bit more down. So it's roughly like that. Thanks, Ed, for watching. See you later. See you in the next challenge. And I will add some more shadow. I think I ran out of ink. I will go to grab some ink. I'm back. Hope you guys still there. How are you doing? So I'm gonna do the first live session of the ink refilling of my fountain pen. Well, that could be useful actually if you haven't done this before, or you are considering to buy a new fountain pen. It's good to learn how to do it, and because I normally use refillable fountain pen, so you have a refiller inside the pen. It's here. So this is a Montblanc Meisterstuck. So I normally use a Montblanc ink, but today I'm quite I do oh yeah, I always finish that one. So I'm using a Parker one, which has a very similar effect. It's quite black. Is a cheaper version, but it's pretty good actually. So what you need to have is a lot of tissues and something underneath the ink bottle. And yeah, you just dip the fountain pen in. So I have a piston. This is a piston fountain pen. So it uses a piston. You rotate the piston on top, and you can release ink or absorb ink. So now the piston is all the way till the end. Now it's fully empty, and then you merge the nib inside the bottle, and then you rotate. Actually, sorry, Instagram, now you can see, I hope. So you just slowly, gently turn this piston on top. I really like this process. It somehow is quite suiting. I relax when I refill my ink. Once you've done, you pull up, and then in the Montblanc type of pen, fountain pen, you want to release 3 to 5 drops of ink. I'm gonna go for 5 drops of ink. And then you just turn the piston back. So now it's fully closed and secured. And then you grab one of the tissue and then just gently clean the nib and close the cap of the ink bottle, and then that's it. Nice and clean. So I want to clean a bit of my hand. It's quite hot today in London. Maybe it's very hot inside. And I'm sweating, so not good when you're drawing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little ink refiller session. And yeah, let's carry on. So now I've got a refilled fountain pen, and you can start to draw straight away. So I was drawing some detailing in here. To make it darker. Yeah, I think that's enough. And then, oh yeah, I was in here. I was about to do some details in the window. So I would draw some shading in the window, and there is some pattern in the window as well, but I will leave it. I don't want to charge it with too many details. That's enough. And then you have a ridge and some white rendered facade in here. So you have some bushes, and yeah, I think that is successful. The rock. Then what you have underneath is a dark shaded part. Yeah, that is very nice because give definition to the deck. And then the bush. I think that's fine. Okay, and then let's draw the trees now. And the tree is roughly in here. So this is actually quite nice because with the trees, you can highlight the point, the tip of this roof. Yeah, you can roughly do this. And then also there is a nice part of the crown of the trees that is pending on top. So it's very nice to define the corner of the frame. But before that, I want to use a paper and draw the text first. So this is Suzhou. So Suzhou Garden. And today is day 6. And it's 24th of March. '22. Nice. And then let's frame it. So let's have the vertical strokes. And then garden. Nice. Yeah, I always add the text in my drawings, but I wonder if you are artist or you do drawings, do you like text in your drawings? I don't remember when I started to add this feature in my sketch, but I found always that the text can actually give some more character to the sketch. And now it's very difficult for me to draw something without a text. And yeah, let me know, guys. What do you think? What's your view on text in sketches? I've seen not many people does it. So there is a leaf, a crown on the top, and it's nice to frame the corner. And then let's go around. So there is a nice little branching from this side, and then some plants like here. It's always nice to leave this point exposed. I don't think I will do like in this image. I will fake this a little bit to benefit the composition a bit. The nice thing about sketches is that you can always tweak your drawings to make the composition stand out. I like hand sketching because that is how you catch the scenery that you are observing under your point of view. So I always prefer drawing something rather than taking a photograph. Although I take photographs when I go to travel because you can't sketch everything, of course. So in here, I want to highlight the roof by drawing the shading of the tree on top. Here is where you can play with the shadow. You don't need to follow exactly what is in the scenery, because it's all about what you want to express and compose accordingly. Now you have this little branch on top. I like draw branches because it's just so playful. Like, it's so relaxing. You can draw as you want, and yeah. And then I think I really like this, um, the white part of the upside, the above part of the roof, um, because I think that creates a very good contrast with the tree. And actually, I want to catch some branches. I really like these branches on top in here. I can play with this branch a little bit. It's all coming out behind this roof, and with all this contrast, you can read the roof very well. And then let's go with the crowns. So it's an evergreen, it's deciduous tree, so has a lot of branches and has a lot of crowns. So I want to give that feeling by adding this cloud shape um, pattern with vertical hatches rather than one big hatch. So this way you can give the feeling of the type of trees that you're drawing. So it's nice. And when you're approaching to the darker part of the roof, I want to leave some gaps so it reads very well the change of the feel, that gives depth to the sketches, break the two different planes. So it's very nice to have. And actually, if you want to know more about composition and compositional um, perspective, like area perspective, or how to make your composition um, feel like has a depth inside. So you can follow actually my online class on Class 101. You can find the link in my Instagram and in YouTube as well. And it's I made like a series of videos about this in very like with a very deep explanation on how to achieve this with tips and tricks. So I think that's useful if you don't have any experience drawing with ink before. But actually, it doesn't apply just for inks. This principle of composition applies for all type of medium, even watercolor, etc. So yeah, feel free to have a look. I think there is a demo on Class 101 as well, so you can see some sequence videos there. And I want to create more contrast here as well. So it's key to draw some shading on the other side. Yeah. Trees are my favorite part. So we have plenty of them in this composition, so it's nice. Do you find trees difficult to draw? Let me know in the comment. And yeah, if you are still around until the end of the sketch, I can reply at your comments. Yeah, before finishing this video. So I want to create some different planes in here. I think it's enough. And on top, the branches are coming from this side. And then folding down somehow. So like this. And I want to add some foliage effects on outside of the crown to make it more playful. Otherwise, it will be too solid. Yeah, I think that works. And I can add more trees in here. So that's perfect, defines the roof even more. And it's pretty dark here as well. Just add some shading. The more you add, the better. I mean, without exaggerating, of course. And I will ending this crown with some dotted line. Oh, some dotted pattern like this. And now, yeah, the crown, I'm quite happy. What do you guys think? And then let's do the reflection in the water. That's a challenging part. I'm actually still thinking how I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I think I will start with some horizontal line. So the water is almost calm, like perfectly calm. It's almost like a mirror. But I want to add some movement in the water just to say that this is water. Otherwise, you can easily make it like a mirror, or can be confusing if you don't add some patterns. There are ways to do without these tricks of the water pattern, but it will take more time, and you need to really nail the the reflection. It's harder somehow to achieve. So I want to draw the reflection of the bush first. So I'm drawing now the outline of what are the reflections. And yeah, it's almost done. I mean, the sketch is not far off. It's a long sketch today, but I wanted to nail this composition because it's complicated. It's not easy. There's so much going on, and you can easily be carried away with details, and then makes your drawing hard to read. So yeah, you need to have time to compose your sketch a bit, and so yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you find this useful. Um, so I want to draw first the reflection of the underside of the bridge. It is now like this, something like that, and then you have this arc shape. I think I will keep everything loose for now, and decide then if I want to add more contrast or not. And so I will draw the vertical line. Is quite key because it suggests some reflection. I want to add more dark elements in here to highlight the underside of the bridge. So now that I've done, yeah, sorry, I need to add some vertical line here, and then you have the roof part on top, which is roughly in here. And then maybe in here. Okay. Then you have almost this roof. Yeah. Okay. I think I've touched the key elements of the reflections, oh, in here as well, under the rock. And here's fine. And now, the funny part. So, I want to draw this part first because I know it's totally dark, but I want to keep the reflection in here. And that's why it's very key to have this horizontal ripples of the water because it breaks the reflection inside the water. And we use a medium to do that. So in here, and then we use a medium tone for the roof, actually. And in here, I can have the opportunity to highlight this rock even more. And then the bridge, the same. goes that way, and some reflection. The reflection is almost in here, having the same tone of the real image. I think it's fine. And then you have some trees around like this, so this image will be reflected in here somehow. And underneath the rock as well. And it's a lot of reflection. It's hard. It's very challenging. But at the end, you can use some tricks to make things more legible. So don't worry about that. Everything can be fixed. Yeah, sometimes I would love that in life, in real life, you can fix things like in a drawing as well. That would be nice, but it's not happening every time. So I think these vertical lines helps a lot to read the reflection. I quite like it. Now, the key things to make the reflection more readable is to make the underneath of, so the line between the reflection and the image above darker. So that helps to read. So now it's fine. And then in here as well, underneath the water, here's fine. With this horizontal line, you can break the image. You can suggest that from this point is the reflection. So that helps. And then underneath the bridge, you can add some more contrast. So more contrast means that that image is not reflected. And more contrast underneath the bushes as well. That helps to read underneath the rock. Like you can immediately tell that the real objects are above and the reflected image is below. So actually in here I will add more contrast. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'm quite happy about it. And underneath the bridge as well. And here, so the rock continues. Thanks, Hugo. Just reading your comments. And yeah, I think it's okay. Not too bad. Some, yeah, I think that's all right. And I just want to add some shading underneath to highlight the bridge. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. Uh, it's a long sketch today, but I feel good that I've been able to represent this scenery in a way that I like. It could be better. Things can always be better, but in the for the time that you've been giving, it's good enough. Okay, let's add some texture, some shading in the text. Okay, 24th, the date, 22, and yeah, that's pretty much done. What do you guys think? Do you like do you like it? Do you want to add anything or not add anything? Remove something? Yeah, let me know now. Write anything you want in the comments, both in Instagram and in YouTube. There are not many people on YouTube, but I will read both and I will answer you now to your questions. So the sketch is done. I will keep this in the background. Um, yeah, we'll start with YouTube, and yeah, thank you, Barely Jang. And thank you for watching this video. Hi, Almudana Ruiz. Thank you for writing. So, is there anything I missed in the chat? It's relatively difficult to travel in Suzhou, but Suzhou cities and gardens are all fine. Yes. The next time I go to Suzhou, I will contact the local people. You. And yeah, free tour in the Tokyo, sorry, Tokyo, in Suzhou Gardens. And then I have to go. See you later. Thank you, Ed, for joining. See you tomorrow. No, in 2 days for the next challenge. I like the reflection. Sweet Chan, thank you very much. It adds the depth to the image. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to have. It's not always easy. You need to be able to read the reflections and where you want to hide to put the accent. Yeah, but with time and practice, you will get the sense of what you want, and with some tricks as well on how to improve the contrast a bit more. And then it's perfect. Thank you, Almunda Ruiz. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Thank you, Sweet Chan. And now let's go to the Instagram. Uh, oh, so many comments. Wait. Is there a way to go straight to the comments? Oh gosh, I don't know how to read comments correctly. Well, I will start from here. I don't know if it's from the beginning. Thank you, thank you. I am trying to read the names, but Instagram names is really hard to read. Joined. Do you have any question regarding the sketch, regarding this challenge, regarding places that you want to submit? Write in the comments. Joined, and thank you very much. Oh, my dad is watching as well. Thank you, Papi. Thank you, Papa. Uh, did you guys sketch with me? Did you encounter any problems while you're doing this? Um, oh, Alessandro Milazzo. Hey, Alessandro Milazzo. Did you sketch? I will check on you tomorrow. They are all colleagues of mine from office. Yeah, it's good that they are joining the sketch as well because architects actually should sketch more. I always feel like architecture nowadays is relying a lot on softwares and on yeah on CAD softwares, and you're almost constrained by the software, what the software can achieve, and obviously the skills that you can use with the software. But actually, sketching, you will be able to step back a little bit and then see the scene from far away, so you can see the whole picture and then understand what you want and what you don't want. So I think sketching release a lot of potential under that point of view, and you can see something that you might get lost when you're using software. So that's all I wanted to say. So sketching is a good practice. I think everyone should do that more. I think the text add the graphics feel to the piece. Thank you, Daddy Ladder. Also, as you say, it's pretty unique. Yeah, thank you very much for the comments. And I do think text add a level of personalization to the sketch. And you can always choose the text font as well. In my online class, I teach more about how to compose your text and compose your frame as well. So yeah, you can have a look at that as well. Um, Thank you all guys for joining. It's a lot of people. Thank you. Dua Helsham, thank you for the comments and looking amazing. Awesome, thank you. Abanicate Condomingo. Instagram like put all the names together. There is no break, no space, so it's impossible to read the names. But thank you very much. Gianluigi Ubezio, thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed the sketch. Sui Chen. Oh, you're watching from both sides. How are you doing this? Thank you for joining from both sides. Yeah, I think it's a good session today. It's a very long. Thank you very much for joining and watching this video. And if you haven't submitted any location yet, please do that. So these challenges will carry on. I will have more location to choose. I want to travel all around the world. There are many places I haven't been, especially in Africa, in Asia, Southeast Asia, and I travel a lot in Europe. But still, there are lots of places in the Balkans that I haven't been. Greece is a nice place. Islands, I've never been to many islands. So yeah, I'm looking forward to have more options to choose. And by the end of the challenge, I will choose the best sketch and give to the winner the original sketch. And all the winners that I've all the all the locations that I've chosen to be featured in the sketch, I will send them the digital form in high-res scan of my sketch. So you can print it, you can use as any ways you want. Yeah, I think that's all for today. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done it yet. So on my YouTube channel, you will have the chance to see the sketch and the reference, my image, all in the screen. So I think it would be more useful if you want to learn and you want to have the image from the top view. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and turn on the bell as well, because that is the notification that will allow you to know when my next streaming is coming. And that's been said. Thank you very much for watching again, and see you in the next one. Bye. Bye bye.